Namo Buddhaya. Good afternoon, Dr. Ng. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters in the Dharma. A very warm welcome to Ti-Sarana Buddhist Association's Cultivation Program. We are very happy to have Dr. Yuen Yen to conduct the Sutta meditation series this afternoon. Dr. Ng is a Buddhist Dharma teacher who had previously lectured at the Mangala Vihara for Buddhist Pali College for 18 years. She has also been conducting talks and meditations at Buddhist societies. Today is our second Sutta meditation session. There will be 6 more sessions. With the easing of the COVID restrictions, we will be planning for on-site participation, in addition to the live stream on Zoom and Facebook every Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. Please look out for the details of this on-site participation on our Facebook page in the coming week. Let me share a brief outline of each session. Dr. Ng will start with Sutta studies and make some questions about the Sutta. Then, followed by 30 minutes of meditations, guided meditation by Dr. Ng, and more question and answer following the meditations, if there is any, before we end the sessions by sharing and transferring the merits. Before we start the session, let us begin the Vassāvāsa cultivation by paying homage to the Buddha image. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Dhammam saranam gacchāmi, Sangham saranam gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sangham saranam gacchāmi. May I now invite Dr. Ng to start the Sutta meditation sessions. Today we'll be focusing on 2 sutta, the Cook and the Bhikkhunis quarters. Dr. Ng, please. So far, I think we are good.
There's a competent and incompetent cook and the non-squatters. These suttas are taken from Satipatthana, okay, Samyutta, okay, Satipatthana Samyutta. This is the 4-fold foundations of mindfulness on the body, feelings, on the mind and mind objects. So it's Satipatthana. So we also know that mindfulness is the first factor of enlightenment in the 7 factors of enlightenment. So it's very important to know about mindfulness. So in these 3 suttas that we are going to talk about, it's always about Satipatthana, and the Satipatthana part of it, you will see these recurring sentences. So I want to explain these sentences before we continue on the sutta proper. So when you want to practice mindfulness, this is what the Buddha had said. you must contemplate body in body, okay? Feeling in feelings, mind in mind, and mind objects in mind objects. So here we break down and then know what each word means. When you say contemplate, you have to be detached. This is what you mean by contemplate. You are detached. So when you see this word template, right? When you see a template, it's like seeing an empty space, and in the empty space, there's these things moving there. So like there's a template, like the board, the whiteboard is a template. Okay, and then you look at the 4 foundations. So the 4 foundations, we are but only the body and the mind, and in the mind, there is the feelings and the mind objects. So these are the things that you have to look out for. So contemplate is to be detached, to look at something. You are looking at something within or without. That means you're looking internally at yourself, or you're looking outside at the sense objects in the world. So especially when you're looking inside, that means of your sense bases, you must have a sense of detachment. So how to be detached? The Buddha says, these are not mine. These are not mine. This I am not. This is not self. Okay, so you say, this is about non-self. Then you say, how to do it? How to do it? I must tell you, your mind is a smart mind. Means you ask it to do, it's malleable, it will do. So you will tell yourself, you all have smartphones, they ask you to talk and then they get whatever for you. So your mind is also like that. So you tell your mind, this is not mine. This am I not. This is not self. So in that way, you are detached from the whatever you are seeing, so that you can see it properly, unattached, unrepelled. You just see something, not like your mind moving towards it, or that you are disturbed by it or agitated by it, you're going to move away. So this, to say that this is not mine, is important to sort of detach yourself. So is other people's job. This is not my job. This is other people's. So you're not a cleaner, then let other people do that part. Okay, so this is not mine. Don't go and get it. You must know what is not yours. Okay, you must know how to behave when something is not yours. You don't go and touch it. You just observe it. So if there's an incident, this is not yours, you just observe it. This is how you should contemplate. So I hope it makes it clear. It's like a template, and that you see things are detached, unattached, and unrepelled. You must be in the detached mode. Only when you are in the detached mode, that is why it's called the first factor of enlightenment. Only when you become detached. So in the mindfulness, you are required to be detached, objective, watching. So this is the contemplation. It is part of the mindfulness training. So then they say, contemplate what? So they say body in body. So body in body, there are breathing. This part, breathing, this is body in the entire body. So it's body in the body. So there is breathing you're looking at. And if you're looking at your posture is that part, that body in the body. You are sitting, you are lying down, you are standing, you are walking. That is your posture. So that is the body in the body. And then if there are activities like you're sweeping or you are showering, so that is the body in the body. So I want to explain that clearly. That is what, when you are contemplating, body in body means. Now then we talk about contemplate feeling in feelings. Now, so you have a feeling based on a particular contact. The contact may be in your five senses, your eyes, your whatever, okay, all this part of your body. Upon that contact, a feeling arises. So feeling in the feeling, born of any of the six sense bases, right? And the six sense objects. So you have a feeling. And this feeling that you are experiencing, feeling in feeling, may be pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. So this is a part of feeling in feeling, right? Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, or of any of the six sense bases. Okay, so this is feeling in feeling. So mind in mind, similar. So there are many mind states. So there's a lustful mind state, there's an angry mind state, there's a distracted mind state. That mind state, mind in mind. You have to contemplate that angry mind state in the mind, right? So similarly, mind objects in mind objects. So mind objects are, for example, what? The five aggregates of clinging, right? Clinging, which one you are clinging to? So you are clinging to the feeling, you're holding on to the feelings, and all these are in the past. So aggregate of clinging is clinging to the past, right? So that is why you always like to, or you try to train yourself to be in the present. And how to train yourself to be in the present is to know you are breathing in and breathing out, and watch this body or feelings or mind objects. Being in the present, you use your breathing in and out, because breathing in, you know you're breathing in means you are present, right? And you're breathing out, you know you're present. So there's this gentle breathing in and out. You can observe it and then watch the body, the feelings, the mind, and the mind objects. So you're always in the present, looking at all these four sort of establishments, and then you can detach yourself. And that in that way, in a detached, objective way, you see things as they are. So this is to say your training, you require contemplation, detach, and then you watch all these four parts that you have to do. And you use your breathing to anchor you in the present and center you and not get distracted. Okay, so when you're in the present, you won't get too affected. Okay, and you're able to observe your aggregate of clinging. And so how do you practice it? You must practice it ardently. That means you must have the energy in doing it. And you must do it diligently. That means every day you have to do it. And you try to do it diligently, moment to moment, not when you feel like it. You have to do it ardently and diligently, as if your hair is on fire. Right? As you are going to die soon. So we have this COVID, right? So you have this urgency to practice. You do not know when you'll get it and that you may die. So you better don't waste this life. So you must practice ardently and diligently. So this is what is required of us. Then when we do it, we are away, we are secluded. We are away from covetousness. That means greed. You're not thinking of how I get that, how I get this thing and that thing. You are away from that greed or ill will. So you are not being pulled or pushed. You are steady. watching whatever you're supposed to watch. And when you are fully focused, then you will get the rewards from it. So in this Satipatthana Sutta, or the connected discourses on Satipatthana, so I introduce you to this, just these few, but you can continue to read the rest of it for yourself, so that you continue to be reinforced in the practice. And this is the Buddha's words, right? And the Buddha's words, you read it, you contemplate on it, and then you try to reflect on them and absorb them. Now we go on to the actual sutta, the cook. I chose this, the cook, because we are Singaporeans, right? We love food. And then we love food, but then so we either cook or we taste what other people cook, right? So we start off with this Sutta 47.8. 1. It says the incompetent cook. Now we all don't want to be incompetent cook. We are in the family. We are maybe mothers or sisters and or husbands and fathers. We cook, okay? So now the thing is, this person worked as a cook for the king and the royal minister. So this Sutta says, what is an incompetent cook? We all want to be competent cook, right? Now it says, this incompetent cook, he is unskillful. He actually supposed to serve the king and the royal ministers. Then he says that he will prepare daily, right? A cook will prepare daily. What type of curries he prepare? So you can imagine there are 8 kinds of curries he prepared. So there's a sweet, there's a sour, there's a saltish, there's a bitter, there's the pungent, there's the bland, there is the sharp, there's the mild. So you see, he prepared all these kind of curries with their different flavors. So when the king partake of the food, he doesn't see which curry that the king likes. He didn't notice the king is pleased with this sweet curry. Oh, he didn't know that this king is look at it, he looked pleased. Have you seen any of your relatives or friends, when they look at something, they look pleased at the food? Or they take buffet, they keep taking that dish, They take a whole bunch of that thing. So a fellow must like that food. So he's pleased with that food. And then he take a lot of this. He reach out for this, right? So then that he likes it. So if any of your relatives take one particular food, then you know that this your loved one love this food. And so if you know that your loved one love this food, you will remember, right? You will sati, right? You will remember. And next time, when he's come back or whatever, or once a week, you will make sure that dish is there. Won't you? If you are going to be sort of like a competent cook, you want to make sure that this king or this royal minister, if he says he like this bitter curry, you make sure he get the bitter curry, right? The next time he comes around. But if you are incompetent cook, you might give him the curry he don't like. The pungent one which he doesn't like. So you serve him the pungent one, you get a cut in your salary. So this incompetent cook does not look at the sign of the master. He does not know what pleases him. And so because he's incompetent, then he won't get bonus. He won't get wages. And apparently, the masters give them gifts of cloths or clothing. So you won't get all these gifts. So this is the incompetent cook. And how this simile that the Buddha gave, he said it with the practitioner, with the bhikkhu. He says if the bhikkhu, when he's doing any of these four, and he doesn't, although he's ardent and he's away from covetousness and displeasure, and he just practice, he doesn't know whether his mind is concentrated. He doesn't know that his defilements or the corruptions, the hindrances have been abandoned. He doesn't know. He did not pick up the sign. So the sign, they use the word nimitta. So there's a lot of controversy of the word nimitta. So nimitta have been sort of extensively written about by Buddha Gosa in the Visuddhimagga, but I will not go into that. I want to say that what did the Buddha say? What did the Buddha say about this? That the monk did not pick up the sign. Okay? When the monk did not pick up the sign, then he would not know when his mind is concentrated. He would not know that the corruptions are abandoned. So this is what it means when the monk is unskillful and incompetent. Okay? Now, when the monk is competent, how would he be? He would be like the competent cook. The competent cook will know what the king likes. That this curry pleased the king. That he reached out for it. He took lots of this. And he praised this. And this competent cook will please the king and the royal minister by cooking a lot of this. To satisfy the king and the royal minister. So that is a competent cook. And he will be rewarded. He will be rewarded with bonuses, wages, garments, cloths. So he will be rewarded. Similarly, a practitioner who is skilled, who is competent, will able to develop his mind and able to pick up the sign in his mind, that his mind is concentrated, that his corruptions or the kilesas are abandoned. So this is the competent practitioner. So now it's just the words here, pick up the sign. So we all pick up the sign, right? We've always been picking up the sign. You look at the weather, it is got grey clouds, and it's going to rain. Make sure we go out with umbrella. Right? Not only the weather, we look at the weather of our bosses, of our relatives. He is so angry, you don't tekan that fellow, right? Unless you want to get yourself into trouble. So you know the sign. You must be smart to look for to know that there is this sign there. If this sign appears, you must be able to understand it, interpret it. Then in that way, you are discerning and not blur, right? So you must act smart. Not only Google smart, no. We, the mind, we must know that we are smart. Okay, so this is the cook. Now I want to tell you what the Buddha says. There are many things talk about nimittas, but I want to say what the Buddha teach us. What are we to look out for? So this is the sign, right? The cook, or that the sign in the mind. What is the sign in the mind? Right. So then here we talk about the non-squatters. Okay, let you all sort of like settle down from that previous sutta. And this previous sutta, you say that try to be a competent cook. Try to be a competent practitioner. You try to pick up the sign. so that your mind can be concentrated, that you can abandon your kilesas. The kilesas are the hindrances. The hindrances, there are 5. Kama, chanda, lust, desires. Second is vyapada, ill will. Third is sloth and torpor. 4 is restlessness and worry. 5 is doubt. If you have any of the 5 hindrances, you cannot get mind concentrated. You won't have clear comprehension. You won't have your mindfulness. You'll be disturbed. You would not be concentrated and would not be happy. So this is what is said in these 2 suttas. Now the Buddha teach you in the nuns' quarters what to look out for. The nimittas to look out for. Not the one that is said in the Buddha Gosa, but what the Buddha says, the nimittas you need to look out for in your practice. So now we talk about the nuns' quarters. So where is this place? This place is at Savatthi, in the kingdom of Kosala. And who are the people involved? The Bhikkhunis, Venerable Ananda, and the Buddha. Now you can imagine now the kingdom of Kosala and Venerable Ananda went to the nuns' quarters and he sat on the seat that was prepared for him. And the nuns then spoke to Venerable Ananda. He says that the nuns who practice the 4 contemplations on the 4 establishments of found mindfulness will have loftier stages of distinction. So Venerable Ananda said this, yes, anyone, bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, who practice these 4 foundations will develop higher stages of distinction. He agreed with the nuns. Then after that, he instructed them on a Dhamma talk. He sort of exhorted, inspired them with the Dhamma talk and gladdened them. After the talk, he left. So he left to the town of Savatthi for his alms round. He finished his alms food and then he went back to the Buddha and told him what has happened. So you see, Venerable Ananda will go back and report to the Buddha. So you want to make sure he doesn't misrepresent the Buddha. And so he didn't, because the Buddha said, yes, that these bhikkhus or bhikkhunis, anyone who practice these 4 foundations and establish themselves in the body, feeling, mind, and mind objects, will reach higher states of distinction. And he says, I will teach you how to develop the mind in a directed and an undirected way. So if you are doing any of this, he says, so he started with the body. So if you contemplate body in body, and then you do all your contemplation or while your meditation, you feel feverish, or that means discomfort in your body, or your mind has sloth and torpor, or your mind get distracted by external things. He then says, you must direct your mind. So this requires you to direct your mind to an inspiring object. When you have an inspiring object, he says that these are the signs now. This is what the signs that you need to look out for. When you are inspired, you are gladdened. When you are gladdened, your mind is uplifted. uplifted mind. You will develop rapture. And rapture will give you an uplifted mind. When your mind is uplifted, he says that your body will be tranquil. Body tranquil. When your body is tranquil, he says that you will be happy. When you are happy, your mind is concentrated. So this is the things to look out for. If you are inspired, you will be gladdened. You'll be gladdened. When you're gladdened, you will have rapture. When you have rapture, you will have, when the rapture will uplift your mind, and then your body will be tranquil. Then you will be happy, happily concentrated. So is GRUTHD or X also can. So what are your signs? Gladden, rapture, uplifted mind, tranquil body, happy, and then it is samadhi. If I put C, doesn't rhyme, right? Crush. This is like root. Then there's a word that's called crush in the Google when you Google. But whatever is glad, rapture, uplifted mind, tranquil, happy, concentrated. So we want what we want here. We want to be happy, right? You want to have samadhi, right? You want to have uplifted mind, right? So the thing here is this, there may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 signs here. There are 6 signs here, but you may pick up one sign. You may not pick up all 6 signs, but you can then pick up. If you travel the route daily, if you meditate daily, you will soon pick up the sign. So gladness is something you are glad, right? You are glad means you are happy. Glad, in a sense, is like very mild. You're sort of like light, in a sense, happy. You are glad to see you. People say glad. So when you're really glad, glad to see you, the person will know you are glad to see because you got a smile on your face. Glad, right? So when you're glad, you have rapture. So what is rapture? Rapture can come in many different ways. It can be very gentle bodily vibrations to the rapture of those people in trance. Those are rapture. Those they have so much trance, that type, so much trance. They are that type of rapture. The bodily feel, so you can see the vibrations of their body, that rapture. But then some people say, I don't like to feel rapture. Don't like to feel rapture, doesn't mind. And Buddha has says that when you go to a higher states of jhana, you feel that rapture is an affliction. So some people don't like to have rapture because they feel it as an affliction. So you don't dwell on it, you just know that, oh, these are just vibrations of the body. These are just vibrations. Then when you know that these are vibrations, you just notice whether your mind get lifted up. Because you want to see you see yourself an uplifted mind. So when your mind is uplifted, that means your consciousness goes up there, your body will naturally be tranquil because your mind is uplifted. Your consciousness goes up. Then your body is very tranquil. Then internally you are happy. It goes like that. It's a natural process. It's a natural process, so you have to see it for yourself. that when you are glad, there's rapture, there is uplifted mind, right? So when the up is uplifted, your mind is uplifted, your body becomes tranquil. Your body becomes tranquil, you become happy internally. When you're happy internally, it uplifted, it gets concentrated easily. So then you can concentrate well. So the results are wages, bonuses, and garments or gifts of garments. So what does the person, the bhikkhu who able to see these signs, then he is happy. He would have found that his mind is uplifted, that his mind is concentrated. His corruptions will be abandoned. When you are doing this, if this is this happy mind, this uplifting mind will abandon the hindrances. So then you will get pleasant dwelling, because being happy is pleasant, right? You will have happy dwelling. You have a pleasant dwelling. And in this pleasant dwelling is an outcome of mindfulness. Outcome of mindfulness, and then you know, clearly comprehending. So you will also get the rewards of pleasant dwelling and also clear comprehension with mindfulness. So these are your rewards. And these are the signs that you can look out for. But what is most obvious? You look at the most obvious. After that, you can see for yourself how it works. These are natural processes. It's just like when you bounce a ball, it has this, it goes up, down, and after a while, it's just happily settled down. So this is direct. Then once you know that your mind is uplifted, you then withdraw your mind from that sign. Then internally, you stay happy and use that concentration to contemplate on the impermanence. Because when you contemplate on impermanence, you will then be very clear about anicca, dukkha, anatta. That all these arise and cease without any substantial thing in it. There's no self. These are not mine, these are not I, this am I not, this is not self. It's just processes that comes and goes. So here, these are the signs. So if you don't need to like look into the Visuddhi Magga and the signs, Upachara, whatever, counterpart sign, no need. Just read the suttas and the Buddha tells you the signs to look out for. Okay, if you do this, you will get this. This is the Buddha's teachings. Right? No need look at likes or whatever. If you are looking for it, you are far away from it. Because when you're looking, you're searching, you are wanting, there's a craving. This will just, when you're doing this, as you travel, as you walk, as you go on your journey, as you drive the car, oh, this is what, when you do this is what's happening. So you can see the signs on the road. Because you are doing the practice. Okay, so then the other one is undirected. Under that sutta is undirected. How to develop the mind in an undirected way. Directed means you direct your mind to something that is inspiring. So you must direct your mind. You don't want to direct your mind to unwholesome things or to negative things. Once you direct your mind to unwholesome things and clinging things, that will grow only. Because what you put your mind on will grow. So you want to put your mind on wholesome things and on practices. So then now he says undirected. So if it is undirected, then he says you did not need to put your mind on anything. You just see undirected, you know your mind is liberated for that duration of time. So you say, okay, when you just look at it, the mind is free. The mind has always been free, right? It's only when put a lot of rubbish in it, and then stuck it in the rubbish bin. Then it's not free, it's full of rubbish. But when it is undirected, the mind is free and empty, right? Sometimes you just check on your mind, hey, now my mind, what is it? It is liberated. And this is not by directing. You just see the mind as it is for the duration of time until you contact something else. So this is undirected mind, where the mind is liberated. You can check your mind up at times. Oh, what is my mind like? Most times it is liberated if you are not having all the 5 hindrances. So this is what the Buddha told Venerable Ananda. So he said, I've taught you the development of the mind by direction and non-direction. He says that these are empty seeds, roots of trees, right? Open spaces, empty hearts. He says you must meditate, lest you regret. So he says you must put on energy, ardency, and diligence in the practice. So these are the 3 suttas. These are the 3 suttas on the Satipatthana, the cook, incompetent and competent. And then we have this the non-squatters to tell you that you can actually practice. When you practice and you feel blocked and you're not like going smoothly, when you're doing any of these 4, anapanasati or whatever, then you must direct your mind. Direct your mind to an inspiring object, or even direct your mind to what you are doing. So in the body, you can like direct your mind to not to look at your handphone. Don't be distracted by your handphone. Just do eating. Don't go and think so much things. Just do what you're doing. Sweeping, showering, walking. So you direct your mind to the present moment. You walk only. Okay? Or you see your feelings, you just see your feelings. So when you see yourself focus your mind, then you will know that it is when you are mindful, what sort of feelings you have when you are mindful is generally pleasant or equanimous. And then you look also at your mind, okay, at your mind, whatever you're doing, you feel your mind is like distracted, you need to just focus in your breathing or whatever, or you focus on something that is inspiring, or you are fearful, faster go to the Buddha or Buddha or whatever, to go back to the 3 refuges. So mind objects, there may be anxiety, you can always go to an inspiring object to move your mind away from the anxiety. Anxiety is part of restlessness and worry, it's part of the hindrances. Then you move your mind back to the center, to your breathing. Okay. Now, any question from the floor? You can see.
Any questions that you all want to ask here? Also take from the participant case photos. Yes.
Now you want to be back. So previously I asked you all, what do you do when you pick up? You must obey, right? And then you back, then you stop. So what? And now after the lesson, you're very like mistake. You should absorb this. Now, what's your reflection? Anybody got any reflection?
We actually do have questions coming from the floor. Before that, maybe I just let everyone know. For those, we're going to question and answer now after the Sutta sharing by Dr. Ng. Thank you, Dr. Ng. So if there's any questions or more questions from those who participated either via Zoom or Facebook, for those on Zoom chat, you may type in the Zoom, or you can unmute yourself to ask directly. For those joining us on Facebook, please type your question in the comment section and we will ask them for you. Okay, so we do have some questions coming already. Dr. Ng, let me read out on behalf. So the first question that we have here, or we take this as a first question, Dr. Ng, is this signs starting with gladness resulting in concentrations occurred naturally when the meditation is proceeding the right way. But what are the signs that the foolish, incompetent bhikkhu have to see to correct himself? As in, he should know that the meditation is proceeding well, or should change his meditation object that will give him the gladness?
Meditating have the 5 hindrances. Let's say, for example, all the 5 hindrances are considered mind objects. So if, let's say, while you are meditating, you have the hindrance blocking your development, then you must remember the antidotes that the Buddha taught us how to overcome the poison. So for lust, the Buddha, if you, let's say, while meditating, you have lust for another person, or for food, or for property, or for whatever, then the Buddha will say, you must, before lust, you must consider foulness. So your object, you change to foulness. Then when there is foulness, so for example, he says, you must always be in the middle path, not for indulgence and not for self-mortification. When there's lust, you have gone to one side, this side lust. So then he says, you must then have foulness so that you push yourself back to the middle. When you have foulness, you go to the other side. So at least your mind will move from this lustful state to the less lustful state. So when you develop foulness, you just move to the other side. Then when you hit the middle, then you know that, oh, I'm not so lustful anymore. So what the Buddha will say is that foulness of the body or the dangers of samsara is a way that you can escape from lust. So like in this COVID period, if you're KTV and meeting beautiful ladies and soothing touches, if you want to meet, then you might get into problem. So you see that these are the dangers of lust. The dangers of lust will get you problems with your life and death. So you don't want them. So you move away. So you have safe distancing away from this potential death inducers. So you have to then move your mind away. So if you have this object of lust, then you have a foulness to overcome it. So if it's an ill will, then you know that this is ill will. You look at ill will by itself, then you say, you don't want to have ill will. Then you have loving kindness. So the Buddha taught us to always go to the middle way. So the middle way, he says in the Satipatthana, how to go to the middle way. So he says it is something that is unrepulsive. You must then look at the repulsive in the unrepulsive. So just now we say going to the KTV and enjoying yourself, it's unrepulsive, right? Then you have to think of the repulsive, the dangers. So he will say this, you must see the repulsive in the unrepulsive. Then when you have repulsive, you have ill will and all that. Then he asks you to look at the unrepulsive. So a person irritates you like no end, right? Then you must find the goodness in that person. Oh, you know, he looks after his father. He takes care of him. You know, he's just very stressed. So you must look for there's some goodness in the person. So then when you don't have, when it's repulsive, you go and look for the unrepulsive. Then you feel better. Or you have loving kindness. Then after that, he says, you look for the unrepulsive when you are so this is one way, right? Then after that, he says, unrepulsive, you look at the repulsive and the unrepulsive. So you see things as they are. I'm repulsive, right? You look for the repulsive and the unrepulsive. So then you become middle. You move to the middle, the realistic. Then you have the same thing. Then if it's repulsive, you see the repulsive also and the unrepulsive. So in that way, you move back to the middle. In that, when you're moving back to the middle, then you will become more objective. Your mind is not so constricted. You know what he says? When you have a mind object, your mind is constricted. When you're stressed, your mind is constricted. When you're glad, your mind is open. So if you have these kinds of problem, he tells you, you have to develop your mind in this way. Repulsive in the unrepulsive, right? And then the unrepulsive in the repulsive. And both the unrepulsive, you also look at this unrepulsive nature and the repulsive nature, right? So this is how he helps you and he guides you to go to the middle. And you yourself will know whether you feel, oh, you let go already now. And it's only you yourself will know whether you have let go. Nobody will know. So this is how you gladden your mind. He has actually tell the antidote. For the 5 hindrances, lust, hatred, and then you have sloth and torpor. So you must actually look at sloth and torpor, or you then garner more energy, ardency and diligence. If your hair is on fire, your head is on fire, do you still want to sleep? You can't sleep. If you are very restless, then you must do more tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. Then when it is sloth and torpor, you don't want to do this tranquility, equanimity, and concentration. You want to do more mindfulness, investigation, and energy. You have rapture in it. So this is how he tells you to overcome. When you have doubt, then you have to practice. You see doubt as a mind object, or you have not enough confidence in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, or the teachings, because you have not seen the teachings enough. But if you have confidence in the Buddha, that he is fully enlightened, and his teachings would guide you out of suffering, and that all the examples of all the Sangha members who have realized are the result of following and guiding themselves along the path according to the Noble Eightfold Path. So the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So if you have doubt, then you actually need to, if it is doubt of the enlightenment, then you have confidence. But your doubt for anything you question. So there is this Dharma Vijaya where you investigate. what has been said, and you have vimamsa, which is an inquiry into what the Buddha or what anybody the Buddha asks us to vimamsa. That means we have to make inquiries. And the Kalama Suttas tell us that we do not accept things just because it's brought down from historical sort of tradition, but we have to question it ourselves. So we can have doubt, but we have to then overcome them with proper questioning and investigation, so that once you see it for yourself, so that it's not blind faith. You know. So there's vision. When you have your vision, your knowledge, then you know the knowledge of deliverance. Otherwise, it is just book knowledge. Okay. Okay.
Okay, the next question we have is from Sister Liz on the Zoom. Dr. Ng, can you give an example of what an inspiring object might be?
Oh, I'm going to give you an inspiring object.
Thank you, Doctor. I think there's a next question. This question is about the Sutta. In MN 43, we talk about 5 factors processed and 5 factors abandoned. Are they abandoned in the first jhana only, or they are abandoned totally?
Okay. 43 is reference to the first one. 43 is she mean that the 5 what is that 5? 5 processes. 5 processes and 5 factors abandoned. So the question is, are they abandoned in the first jhana only, or are they abandoned totally? Right. So I think when people listen to your question, they may not understand what is it's not very explicit. So I shall guess what you are talking about. So I hope I'm on the right track. So when you are talking about the 5 factors of the jhanas, so you have thought and examination, vitakka, vichara. Is that what you're talking about? Can the person respond? Is this the 5 factors you're talking about? Step if you're on the line, can you unmute yourself and maybe ask if you feel comfortable? Is it thought? Is this what you are talking about, the 5 factors of the jhana? Thought and sustained thought. Thought and examination. Okay, so we have no response. No response. Thought and examination.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can you speak up?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, please speak up.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Sister, we can hear you. We can hear you. Please continue.
Okay. The 5 factors that is abandoned mentioned in MN 43 in first jhana: sense desire is abandoned, ill will is abandoned, sloth and torpor is abandoned, restlessness and remorse are abandoned, doubt is abandoned. So these 5 abandoned factors, are they only abandoned during the first jhana, or actually they are abandoned as in like, okay, it is not in us anymore?
Okay. So the 5 hindrances, when the 5 hindrances are abandoned, that means there is no more lust. No, that is for the occasion that the person is practicing. It may be temporary only. So on that, so it's abandoned temporarily while the person is meditating. So when the person is meditating, the 5 hindrances are abandoned during the period. So when you're meditating, you know that you're not lasting after certain things, and that you have no ill will, and you're not restless, and that you're not sleepy, and there's no doubt. So then, because these are abandoned, then you are able to focus. So your 5 hindrances are abandoned. So generally, they say the 5 hindrances are abandoned in the first jhana. But in the mindfulness, when you are practicing, these 5 hindrances are also abandoned. It doesn't need to be the first jhana, right? So this is to say, you know what are the hindrances. These hindrances are mind objects that you have cast aside while you are meditating.
Oh, okay, understand. Thank you, Dr.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. So I shall go to the next question, Dr. Ng. Wait a second, let me share. The next question we have from Sister Annie on the Zoom. Sometimes when we contemplate an inspiring object, such as the Buddha, we get gladness, happiness to a certain extent, but it is still difficult to get on the concentration.
You will see. So anyway, the inspiring object, so we say there's G-R-U-T-H-S, okay? Gladness. Then you glad already, then you look at rapture, then you look at uplifted mind. You must be looking out. If you have rapture already, you gladness, you stop here, you won't be able to get your concentration because you need to notice this. Then you also, once you get rapture, you notice this uplifted mind. You notice tranquility. Then you also notice happiness. Then you will notice the samadhi. This is progressive. So these are the signs because your signs stop here. So you are there. So you need to look. This is the signs that you have to watch out for. So you may not see rapture, but then you look at your uplifted mind. So in this practice that we are going to do, we want to know whether you can see the signs or not. And once you see the signs, once you perceive, then it's easier for you. The next time, when you travel along this route, you can see those signs. It's easier to be concentrated or happy. Because it's all about perception only. Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Give me a second because we do have quite a bit of questions coming up. So I think the brothers and sisters are actually trying to type in that others can follow. No, I think it's okay. I think we do have questions already. Okay, next question we have. So after achieving the mindfulness, should we abandon it? If so, how do we do so?
You achieve mindfulness, you never abandon mindfulness. Okay, there's no such thing as abandoning mindfulness. If you abandon mindfulness, you're abandoning the first factor of enlightenment. Right? Your mind must be always attentive and detached. There's no such thing as abandoning mindfulness. So that's the wrong view. Abandon that. Okay, the next question. When I'm not mindful,
and having many thoughts, distractions, and worries.
Mm.
How do I come back to pay attention to the mind?
So if let's say that if the mind is the cause of your problem, then in order to ground yourself, you ground yourself in your body. So usually if you are anxious or worry or restless, it's all mind objects. So these mind objects are disturbing you. In order not for them to disturb, then you direct your mind to your body. We are fortunate we have a mind and body. When our body disturbs us, we look at our mind. When our mind disturbs us, we look at our body. So you must be trained to look at body and mind. Eventually, the most important is actually the mind is looking at all these things. But how to direct your mind when you're restless or anxious to ground yourself on your body is either the breath or to your posture or to your activities. So you ground them or you exercise. So these are things that can help you to ground yourself away from the mental problems. So people don't realize that the benefits of exercise, when they exercise, they cannot be thinking too much. But some people exercise with the music in their ears. I don't know whether they're listening or they are exercising. So if you are exercising, you must be just exercising. So that there's this feedback system that the body learns that when you exercise, oh, it feels good. Not because it's listening to the music, but because you are potent or you are capable of doing these movements of the exercise, that you can run, you can climb, you can do whatever. So then this feedback loop, when you do something, there is a feedback loop to your mind. If you eat mindfully, there's a satiety center which says that, hey, this person is feeding me with good food, whatever. And the mind is satisfied that he has eaten because the person has chewed thoroughly. The body tells the mind. So it is important when you do something without the periphery, without the music in your ears or whatever. You should just exercise for exercise. But I do not know. Some people just plug their ears to don't want to talk to others. I'm listening to something. So this may be their way to seclude themselves. But I do not know. But I think when you exercise, you should just focus on what you are doing. So there's consciousness of that body. So that the consciousness then ground themselves on the bodily activities. And in that way, you will be away from your troubles, your mental troubles. So when you sit, you look at your breathing, okay, and then see if you are sitting, you're doing anapanasati, you do anapanasati, or whatever you are doing, you just fully occupy yourself with whatever you're doing and examine what you are doing. You investigate.
Doctor, maybe we take one more question before we switch to the meditation. This question from a Zoom participant. I'm also a bit surprised in that this Sutta 47.10 mentions concentration, and that when he gets concentration, the bhikkhu reflects that his purpose has been achieved, so will withdraw his mind from the inspiring sign. The Satipatthana Sutta MN10 itself does not mention concentration, but focuses on the insight of arising and cessation, which is not mentioned here in the Sutta Nipata. Here it ends with, without thought and examination, internally mindful, I'm happy, which is not the goal of Satipatthana. So,
Yes, okay. Right. So this particular the Satipatthana, in that sense, this person, the problem is that he started off being distracted, that his body is feverish, right? And that his mind has sloth and torpor, and that he is distracted by external things. So now he wants to, so this is not a state of calmness. This is a state, where you cannot see clearly. This is a state where the mind is restless. So when it's restless, then it is like the mind is not tranquil enough, not happy enough. So for somebody to see something clearly, then the mind must be clear. If your mind is not clear, you cannot see clearly. So in that sense, when he has able to guide himself to that calm state, and that calm state already, he then use that calm state. He uses his mind to achieve the calm state. He uses an inspiring object to calm his mind. So once his mind is calm, then he can see things as they are. That the mind is no longer restless or worry like a slave. It's not like moving here and there. It's now calm. So when you calm, you can see the gems at the bottom of the lake clearly. So he now, this sutta is a short sutta. If he's going to elaborate further, if he's going to elaborate further, it's going to be a long sutta. There are many, he tells you the way to achieve a happy state, a concentrated state. And once you get a concentrated state, you can focus enough on the rising and the ceasing. So it is to guide you to a happy state, because you are uncomfortable with the unpleasant feelings of the body and hindrances of the mind. So this person, you must see where he starts from. And of course, we want to have a calm mind in order to see impermanence. Right? Yeah? And all this is also impermanence, because from a state that is unpleasant, he moves the state to a pleasant state. And always you see when the person is stressed out, he would not be able to receive your teachings. The Buddha always guide the person to a state of mind that is joyous. Then he talk about the Four Noble Truths. So we have example of Yasa, the princeling, the rich princeling or the wealthy Brahmin, and they have night shows, night performance. Then when they finish with their night performance, they sleep on the floor. When Yasa also fell asleep, when he wakes up, he sees all of these bodies with their face like salivating away, their hair watered, their body is unmindful. Then he see like in a corpse in a cemetery. Then he feels, ayyo, so oppressive. So he quickly walk off. Then he'll say, I'm so oppressed, I'm so oppressed, I'm so oppressed. He just walk on and on and say, I'm so oppressed, I'm so oppressed. So when he walked towards is to where the Buddha was. And the Buddha then says, there's no oppression here. Then he talks to him, generosity. So when he talked to him, generosity, the Yasa, the mind opens up because he has performed generosity. He has a joy of generosity. So his mind opens up. Then he talked about Sila. So Yasa must have kept his precepts well. So when he says Sila, his mind also is opened up. Then the Buddha talked about the way to heaven. Dana and Sila is the way to heavens. And then he said the way to heavens, when you think of the heavens, your mind further opens up. Then he talked about sensual pleasures, the dangers of sensual pleasures. So when it says the dangers of sensual pleasures, then it says, yes, like he's seeing all these performances, you know, these are sensual pleasures, the dangers of sensual pleasures were there in his house. So then he says, Nikama, renounce these sensual pleasures. Right? Then when his mind is soft and it is malleable, then when he knows that the mind is soft, then he talk about the Four Noble Truths. And when he talk about the Four Noble Truths, Yasa realized, right? So when you have somebody who's stressed out, you're not going to add further stress to him. No, you don't add more fire to him. Yeah, you do this, you kena. Then after that, this person will be very stressed out. You must talk to the person gently, lovingly. Then the person's mind open up. Then he can pour out his sorrow. Once he pour out his sorrows, he ventilated already. And sometimes you don't know what to say. You just be there because your presence is enough. Your quiet, loving presence is enough for a friend. So a person can ventilate out. And you must say things that is, then your voice you must not use it in an agitated tone. You're not judgmental. You're just listening another person having a difficult time and you're just listening. So this person's mind will gently open up. So when you open up, once your mind open up, then you can see clearly. So this is how he is guiding us. Where our mind become gladdened and happy and joyous, when then the mind opens up to be able to see and receive. So this is the way. And then you cannot be too picky on the words. He never say this, he never say that. Wow, the sutta going to be very long and some people will fall asleep and then the essence is disappeared already. So the essence here is to say how to overcome this when you have these difficulties. Okay, is that?
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Can we, can we do a 5 minutes so that let everybody and settle themselves in a comfortable position before we start with meditation? So, brothers and sisters on the line, we come back. We take a few minutes break. We come back at 3:25 p.m. Singapore time. Okay. See you all later. Thank you. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us back again. We shall make ourselves comfortable and we shall get Dr. Ng to lead us on guided meditations.
Okay, so you all now sit yourself comfortably. You can sit on a chair or you can cross your legs, put your back straight, close your eyes. Understand that last week the voice was too soft. So I hope that this time is okay. Right. And that I will do the last week's meditation again, mainly on the 3 refuges. And then you see for yourself how whether this inspires you, whether there is gladness, whether there is uplifted mind, whether there is tranquility, whether your mind gets concentrated. So you see those signs yourself. If it appeals to you, it appeals to you. No need to be so kanchiong about what are the signs, what are the signs. You just do what you're supposed to do, and then the gladness and tranquility comes naturally. Don't go and like search for it. It comes naturally. When you search, there's a one thing. Then when there's a one thing, it becomes further away from you. So don't want anything. So the mind, you must be away from covetousness. Your mind is detached. Just see things as they are, detached mode. No sort of like wanting something or not wanting something. Just be detached. Okay, we shall do the meditation on the 3 refuges. Notice when you say something, how the mind responds. So we want to see how your mind responds. Okay. See how your mind responds to this. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. You see how these words affect you. Then you can repeat to yourself quietly, slowly, relishing each word for yourself. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So when you pause, you experience the feelings you have and the effects on your mind, whether your mind is uplifted. Then we go on to the 3 refuges: Buddham, Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Now I would like you to do the last refuge the third time by yourself. And in this third time, you see the words and see how the words appear to you. Okay, how did it appear? How does it look? Look at the words itself. So you just see the words Adiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Adiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Adiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. So at the end of these three refuges, have you been gladdened? Do you feel rapture? Do you feel rapture? Is your mind uplifted? Is your body tranquil? Are you happy? Is your mind concentrated? Concentrated mind is a happy mind. Breathe in, breathe out, just experience what is it like to take the three refuges mindfully. In the mind. So if you are not voicing the words, means you withdraw from the words, then you just breathe in, breathe out. So withdrawing from the sign, withdrawing from the direction of the mind, or what you set out to do, then you remain happy. So you just breathe in and breathe out. Internally, you're happy. So if you feel like the body or the face has some sensations, that would be rapture. So individually, it differs one from another. It may be just tinkling. Rapture may be just tinkling. Then you go up to the uppermost level where the tinkling ends. You notice whether your mind is uplifted by the rapture. You look at that uplifted mind, breathe in, breathe out, look at the uplifted mind. Then you notice your body. Is it quiet? Is it tranquil? Once you notice the tranquil body, you also would feel internally arising the joy or the happiness which runs upwards. And you follow where it ends. So the happy mind then becomes concentrated. Some people may prefer to take the 3 refuges in English. Maybe it speaks to them better. Or in Mandarin, because they are more inclined to think in Mandarin. So we shall do the 5 precepts in a similar way. Then you see whether you can pick up any of the signs as we move along. But you should just focus on the 5 precepts, the wording and the intention. So I should do it in English now to have a variety. I take the precept of abstaining from killing. I take the precept to abstain from stealing. I take the precept to abstain from sexual misconduct. I take the precept to abstain from false speech. To abstain from harsh speech. To abstain from malicious speech of ill will. To abstain from divisive speech. I take the precept to abstain from intoxicants. Then you breathe in, breathe out. And you check whether your You are glad you had experienced rapture. Your mind is uplifted. Your body is tranquil. There is internal happiness. Your mind is concentrated. So you continue to meditate. You check whether your breathing, each breath is, your breathing is impermanent or not. Feelings are impermanent. Mind is impermanent. Mind objects impermanent. They arise and cease at a higher level. So when you do this, you develop loftier stages of distinction. So now we end the session. Feel the bum on your seat. Feel your entire body. Slowly take your time to open your eyes.
Thank you, Dr. Ng, for your guided meditations. I'll take more questions from the, yeah. Okay. I have one from earlier. Let me share. Okay, we have a question from Teresa Heng. She has posted this on Facebook earlier. How to respond skillfully to distracted states of mind that interfere with concentrations?
Okay, just now what we did would be able to focus you from your distracted mind? No? To the same person who just asked this question?
And response maybe on Facebook, whether you feel
No longer distracted, yeah.
After the guided sessions from Dr. Ng. We didn't really get the response, Dr. Ng.
So I shall ask the question. So were you able to experience the signs as the Buddha mentioned? Were you all glad? Okay. Were you all, do you have experienced rapture? And do you experience the uplifted mind? Did you experience the tranquility of the body? Did you experience the happiness or the joy internally? Good. And okay. What did you experience when you say you read the words in your mind? How did the words in your mind appear? So I asked you to do it, right? I said, Tadiyampi Buddham. So how did the words appear to you? For those who are here, or you understood me correctly when I say that? Let's say, what's your answer? How did you experience it?
Well, actually by watching the syllabus by syllabus,
Yes.
focusing it.
So how?
So I get, the mind gets very concentrated.
So how did it, in the mind view, where did it appear? Where did it appear? Is it middle? Is it side or where? At your side, okay. So, so how do you feel your mind? So each one is individual, okay? Yes. So do you find your mind elevating? Yeah. So by even saying that words, the mind elevate, and the words disappear right after that. So everything. So this thought, the word itself disappear. So you can see thought disappearing. So people tell you thought don't disappear. You can see this thought that you created disappear. And because it's an inspiring object, it elevates the mind. Okay. So this is how you now look for the signs. So the signs, so you may not know the signs previously, but now we know you can gladden. You notice that it goes by that way, and it's that way. If you walk this route, if you drive this route every day, if you meditate every day, this is the route that you will take. So then you have gladness, rapture, uplifted mind, tranquility, happiness, and samadhi. You may, if you do once, you do not see it. The second time you look for the signs again because you travel the path. Oh, so this is how it goes. And this is volition to a positive, wholesome thing. So this is the science, and by the practice, you then understand the sutta better, and then you now become a competent cook because you pick up the science of your mind, and picking up the science of your mind, you gain pleasant dwelling. It was a pleasant dwelling, right? A tranquil body, happy mind. What more can we ask for? And then when you use your concentration later, look at impermanence. Sometimes you don't be too happy, yeah? Then you use what? The concentrated mind. You use the concentrated mind, samadhi, to then reflect on impermanence of the body, feelings, mind, and mind objects. that they all arise and cease. And then there is relinquishment. So you can sense all those things too. So these are the signs of the mind that I would like you to prefer to look at. They call it nimitta. The Buddha called them nimitta. So you look at what the Buddha say in the sutta. You don't have to worry about Buddha ghosts, nimittas of the likes. No need. Look for the signs in your mind. So you become competent. If you are able to see this, is enough. So you can see this when you chant the 3 refuges, the 5 precepts. So when you do your 3 refuges and 5 precepts, then this is a way where you can enter smoothly. It's a very short time. And then if he speaks to you in Pali, then you say that, hey, I prefer Pali, or you prefer English, you know, or you prefer Mandarin. But what speaks to you, what inspires you, lifts you. So once your mind is lifted up, your body is tranquil. Once you notice your body is tranquil, there is a happiness within. And when the happiness rises, then your mind gets concentrated. When you look at the happy mind, then the mind gets concentrated. So these are the signs. So now it's undirected. If you're not focusing on it now, you're not focusing on the 3 refuges or the 5 precepts, then you can also see that your mind is liberated, undirected. You don't require an inspiring object. So you can sense now your mind is liberated, especially after a sitting. You feel your mind is liberated, but you're not directing at anything now. Mind, pick at your mind. Hey, the mind is free. It's we who are the problem maker.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Doctor. The participant who asked the question earlier has actually responded. During your guided meditation, she felt calm and peaceful. There's no distraction. So thank you for the guidance. We have Sister Bilan who has raised her hand and want to ask question. Sister, you may unmute yourself and ask question live now.
Hi, Dr. Ng. Sorry, but I did. Do you mind explain one more time? Rapture and samadhi.
Oh, capture by the we call it piti, P-I-T-I. Okay, piti, so is a feeling. It is a pleasant feeling of the body. So this pleasant body, so if it is the pleasant sensation in the body. So this pleasant sensation in the body, so just now when we were practicing, did you have a pleasant sensation in your body?
Yes.
So how did it arise, and where it arises and where it goes? It goes up to your head.
I feel that I breathe. I don't know. I feel I can concentrate on my breath and breathe properly.
Okay. So there was some sensation in your body.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a pleasant sensation.
Yeah, more comfortable.
Yes, comfortable. So this comfortable feeling is considered rapture. As long as a pleasant sensation in your body is considered rapture.
So the uplifted mind and a mind that is happy, uplifted. How do you like differentiate between mind, a peaceful mind, uplifted mind.
Oh, okay. So when this rapture you have, if you notice the rapture, the sensation of rapture, see where the rapture rises, which level, like there is a watermark, a jug has a watermark. Then you feel this sensation, where does this wave-like sensation of the body, where did it rise? How, up to what level does it rise? So you follow the rapture, you just look at the rapture, and then you see how the bodily rapture uplifts the mind. So you don't have the body and the mind. So when there's this rapture, so if the rapture goes upwards, then it lifts up the mind. So this is what you call uplifted mind. So when the mind is uplifted, so most of your when your mind is uplifted, so you have your consciousness focusing on the uplifted mind. So when it's on the uplifted mind, the body gets tranquil. So you have to, does this taking 3 refuges inspire you? Did you consciously take the 3 refuges? Like when I say it, then you also repeat in your mind. Then you actually embrace the words, what it means to you, what it means to take refuge in the Buddha. It's not lip service, It's not just like chanting in unison, because this is chanting by yourself. You're saying the words within you to take the refuge in the Buddha. You're not chanting with other people. You are personally taking refuge in the Buddha. So how does this mean to you? So there's this.
Yes.
So is this an object that is inspiring for you? You don't have to. If you don't feel inspired, it's okay, It's all right. It is. Sometimes people prefer to have this more inspiration is compassionate work or what, no? So some people have different inspiring objects. So this is the inspiring object that I'm just using. Generally, people who have faith, and their faith is based on the practice, on the Dharma, that they have seen the Dharma, then the faith increases. So it's like it uplifts. So after you practice the Dharma, you see what the Buddha means, it uplifts you. So it just goes, the confidence in the Buddha increases. And then so it becomes an inspiration for the practice. In this a way where you can find an inspiring object. Inspires you, so it uplifts you. So we all have motivation. So it motivates you upwards. So we call it inspiring.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Thank you, Sister Bilan, for your question. I hope it has addressed the doubt that you have.
Yes.
Thank you. We now have a question from the on-site participant. May I invite Sister Susie? I think it's okay.
Focus, right? That is secondary. This is the primary, because you want to learn the science, right? So, but you, in order not to get distracted, you know that you are in the present, because sometimes you might have some distraction.
Sorry, Dr. Ng, because the participant cannot hear the question earlier, so I have to repeat. I think what Sister Susie was asking earlier is, did she focus on the breath, or she focus on the signs that she may meditate over? So I think Dr. can continue to address the questions.
Okay. So the answer to that question is that, so what is the essence of this topic? The essence of this topic is to show you the signs. So you want to look out for these signs. So the breathing is secondary. You know that it is. And usually you, after this, you enjoy, you breathe in and out and just enjoy all this. So you just be aware you are breathing and you enjoy. Because all these are mental, mostly mental. So your body, your breathing is body. So these are mental, you're just enjoying these mental experiences. So it's not like you are always breathing anyway. It's just that where is my focus is. So the focus, now you want to know this, because it's the mind you want to know. But your breathing is there. You know your body and this is mind, and you are enjoying it. So you don't have to say, I must have only this and nothing. You can have both. You are enjoying both. Okay.
Yeah, we will take that into consideration. Thank you, Dr. Ang. Thank you, Sister Susie. Any more questions? For those on Zoom, feel free to raise your hand if you have more questions to ask. For those who are on Facebook, you may type your questions or let us know if you have any more questions. Okay.
The Satipatthana, the four foundations, and you do it ardently, diligently, every day. Body in body, feeling in feeling, mind in mind, mind objects in mind objects, and phenomena. So if you have any hindrances, then you can look for a inspirational object. And once you have an inspirational object, when you have feel gladdened, when you have rapture, you have uplifted mind and tranquil body, and then happiness, and then concentration, then you can withdraw from that sign, and then internally you are happy. You don't have to keep on looking at the sign. Your mind is then liberated. And then with a liberated mind, you can then observe the rising and ceasing, and the characteristics of the mental and physical phenomena. Well, so it says this is the practice. So I hope today's lesson is fruitful and that you are able to observe this. And the inspiring object is, of course, the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts. And of course, in the first sutta, practice, we taught Valama Sutta, where we taught that we want to have 3 refuges, 5 precepts, loving kindness and impermanence as part of our practice. Okay? So that we are grounded in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and that we keep our precepts well, impeccable. Right. Then we can end samsara. Then you must be confident you can end suffering. Right. So this practice today shows how you can be happy. Okay. So we shall end this with the puja, and then I think you all must reflect and practice. If all this reading without practice does not bear fruit for you, so we shall.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Thank you for the insightful sharing and the guided meditation. Before we end the sessions, let us transfer the merits of our cultivation program. Let's do the transfer of merits before sentient beings. Akka sattā Mettā Deva Naga Mahidika Punyam Tang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Lokasasana Akka sattā Mettā Deva Naga Mahidika Punyam Tang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Lokasasana Akka sattā Mettā Deva Naga Mahidika Punyam Tang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Lokasasana Idam me natina hotu sukhitattā hotu natayo Idam me natina hotu sukhitattā hotu natayo Idam me natina hotu sukhitattā hotu natayo Sādhu, Sādhu, Sādhu. May the blessing of the Triple Gem always be with you. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us today. Thank you, Dr. Ng, for guiding us and doing the Dharma sharing. If you wish to revisit today's sessions by Dr. Ng, you can view the video on our Facebook page at Ti-Sarana SG. Look out for the topic of the next sessions by Dr. Ng and details about on-site participations on our Facebook page next week. Tomorrow, Sunday, Bhante Chanda Vimala will be giving a Dharma talk at 12:30 p.m. Singapore time on Zoom and Facebook. See the details on our Facebook page. We welcome all to join the talk. Stay safe and well. See you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ng.
Thank you, Dr. Ng.
Dr. Ng,
Thank you so much.
thank you for your insightful. Thank you all.
Thank
you,
you so
everyone.
much, technical team. So much work. Well done.
Thank you, everyone.
Media team too.
Sādhu.
Ooh.